な本当愛してるだったらもうとっても大きいよあの方だけはちょっとサイズするんですよダイエット中よいいの食べるMy favorite 大好きなのもう朝昼晩でも OK 食べなくてもねランドだけです Help yourself
Yeah, there's actually people watching, so. And they can hear you. So. Only very few people.
You're on the diet. You're on the diet, right?
One of them is me.
No, but everyone is on the diet.
The picture's a little bit blurry, but.
If someone loves me, that's fine. You have to take everything on it. Take me. They cannot love me as I am, so just take everything on me. Sean, I cannot say love me as I am. No, I cannot say that. Take everything on me. What does it mean? Anything that you can get from her.
I hope so.
すごくね。すごい。Wow.
There's probably a few things we need to do to improve it, but.
Oh.
まあまあ。
まあまあ。まあまあ。まあまあ。まあまあ。
For now,
For now, Mama.
You can see how many people are watching?
Yes. So it says we have 4 viewers here, so. But it looks like 2 of us are in the room, so.
But how do people know about it? I mean, because I didn't see it on the website. Did you just through Jolt? I mean, on the JALTOmiya webpage, I just saw.
Yeah, I
didn't see any link.
I didn't. For some reason, I couldn't update the old website, so I couldn't.
Oh, is there a new one?
Well, we have a new website that works. Well, it's up, but
it's not pointing to the domain.
Yeah, it's a little bit. I'm stealing somebody else's website, basically. So I haven't done so yet. It's just it's already up and running, but.
Did you create the new website?
Yeah.
I do a little website development.
Yeah, so I mean, it's nothing big. It's just.
Oh, okay.
So now it's we just updated a few of the things on here. So.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, you got the calendar on there.
We've got the calendar. We've got links and everything.
But yeah, different stuff. More things on there.
Yeah. So, I'm stealing somebody else's stuff. So. Yeah. We haven't published the details of this until we get on the database. So. Why just web addresses? So, but yeah, and I mean it's still not special. I just push it through WordPress. Extra links, modifications. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the way to do it. I think that's most websites involve with WordPress. I mean, like the majority, because like most popular nowadays.
Yeah, I just use this because you don't need to do that much. There's a few things that I know in order to get it done, but it's pretty easy. And was like, that's the best price we paid. And it didn't take too much to get it up. So,
Well, I mainly do technology stuff like help desk, admin, mobile development, stuff. I don't do actually teaching. I'm interested in getting to it because I think right now I'm just freelancing, so it's kind of like I don't get a steady income. And my wife's like, something steady. So like I'm kind of looking into it, like So I'm just trying to see. I like it because just even being the kind of the Japanese school system, because I have two young daughters, so I want to kind of see what they're going to. I don't know.
Evelyn, do you do ALT?
Yes.
Attention, please.
Don't take any advice from me because AS is a very. I have a bad experience with AS.
Evelyn. Sit yourselves down. Okay, part 2. No worries.
Okay, so we'll go on a little bit of using music to sensing for creative learning. And this is more geared to younger children, but there'll be some things that I'll bring in that I use in the university as well. I don't know about you guys, but anybody teaching all ages here? Teach all ages? So I'll sometimes take the same lesson. I go right from the hoi and right on up. So what do you think makes music valuable for ESL learners? So there are a lot of things, I think, and scientists and music psychologists and actual teachers in the classroom, and they're all everybody's got their own specialty, and I hope at some point it will all come together. So Plato said that music is a more potent instrument than any other for education. And in America, alarmingly, what's being cut from the budget is music classes. So back in 1994, Irvine researchers said it trains the brain for higher forms of thinking. Anybody know DJ Coulter? She was a famous music psychologist, and she does a lot of work with music and psychology for young children, neuroscience. And there was a big article in Newsweek, this was way back in maybe around 1990, that said kids' brains are wired for music, math, and emotion. She called the songs and movement musical games of childhood brilliant neurological exercises. They should be in every classroom every day, she said. They introduce speech patterns, sensory motor skills, vital movement strategies. They also, the area of the brain that controls the body, like little kids won't sit down or they won't listen, whatever, it's the same part that controls speech and singing. So the more music training they have, the more self-management that they have. They can behave a little bit better. And the ability to keep a beat is very linked to speech and logic and helps children organize ideas and solve problems. For me, what I came up with is an anagram about music and what I think the benefits of music are for young children. They're multi-layered, multi-sensory lessons. They have universal appeal. All little children love music. It teaches stress and sentence structure in a very easy way. It's interactive. You have interaction with your teacher, with your classmates, and even to your own emotions. And it's instinctive and intuitive. And it connects ourselves. So it's group building activity as well. And also to the multiple intelligences. And we're going to talk about that a little bit. So multi-layered lessons. So we talked a little bit about some of the lessons that you can get from music. So for example, I teach thematic lessons with these. This one is about the weather, and my 2-year-olds all know, even the 2-year-olds know all their weather words from it. We do it every class. We open every class, we start with a hello song, and then we always talk about the weather. And this one also, I took a popular game of children where they kick the shoe in the playground, they say, what's the next day's weather? So I took that idea and I made a weather predictor. And I showed this to a kindergarten teacher in America. She was like, wow, nobody teaches predicting to little children. This is really great. So what we do is we spin, at the end of the song, we spin the dial, and tomorrow's weather, what's it going to be? Snow in July. It's going to snow. They love this, you know. And even the babies, they like crawl up. They want to spin the thing. So getting them involved. This one also teaches beginning homophones in an easy way. So my idea was to come up with ways to get grammar chunks embedded, like in the computer. Amazingly, I had a meeting about this project in Tokyo with the head of Shogaku education. I got a meeting with him. I don't know how that happened, but I got a meeting with him. I sat down one-on-one and talked to the man. And I said, this is what I'm doing, and it also incorporates grammar. And he said, oh, we don't want to teach grammar to elementary school children. You know? But you want them to talk, right? So I agree. I don't think you should be teaching, verbs and nouns and this and that. But I do think you want to embed those patterns and those grammatical chunks in their brain so that it's natural and the syntax is natural. And songs are a very easy way to do that. So each of these books have a little chunk. I saw. This one is will it be? So let's just listen a little bit to this one. Let's try. And listening to different styles of music is very fun, I think. So this has sort of a Jamaican beat. We do drums, then we do the guitar. And then we play the shakuhachi. This is the shakuhachi. So we made it the weather bee, and he dresses up like a bee, and then they say, for older children, you can teach home instruments. Oh, what will the weather be? Oh, weather bee, let's spin the dial. And then we start doing a little kinesthetic thing. Will it be windy and blow my cap away? Sunny, will it be sunny? I'll go outside and play. Snowy, will it be snowy? I'll build a big snowman. Rainy, will it be rainy? Please tell me if you can. Oh, weather bee, oh, what will the weather be? My 2 and 3-year-olds, actually I had a 1-year-old who's not talking yet, and she said, see? So they're getting it. But my kindergarten kids can sing all of it. My 3-year-olds actually sing all of it. Will it be cloudy? Will it be wet or dry? Stormy? Will it be stormy with lightning in the sky? Foggy? That's a word that most of them maybe are not familiar with. And icy? Will it be icy? Just watch me slip and slide. Woo! And then oh, what will the weather be? Oh, weather be, let's spin. So it goes on like that. And then we predict the weather. And we do it every class, and all of my kids know all of their weather, or these weather.
I have a question. You use that material for elementary school, 3-year-old or 1-year-old kids?
I use it right from babies on.
Babies.
From babies up, I use it. So I use it also with my elementary school children as well.
Do you use Japanese only English?
English.
English only.
But I might no English, no English. I mean, no Japanese, never use Japanese. I'm like, why? They speak Japanese. I mean, that's natural for them. And why not use their natural language, their home language? So yeah, I would explain first, like, Kitty, do you know Kitty? Kitty, Hoagie, that's Hoagie. Yeah, Hoagie's good. And once they have it, then they know what it is, and you don't have to keep saying it. So, but they know all their weather words in a very easy way. And then they can also say will it be. So English and listening skills. So I combine a lot of this. I teach really almost all music-based to very little children. And there was a recent study from Harvard Graduate School of Education about the importance. They're actually studying how to deal with children with autism, but it also talked about reading problems and how you could pick that up early on, and what they're studying could actually help children who don't have autism. But one of the things that this researcher said was vitally important was learning the rhythm of the language. And of course the rhythm of English is so different from the rhythm of Japanese. So I do listening also from babies. We use bells, but you can do it with clapping as well. And she said clapping to rhythm is a really vital skill for little children who want to learn to read. It could prevent reading problems later on. So what we do is things like, I have them listen, and it's really cute. Like 2-year-olds can do this. Even some of my 1-year-olds are getting it. So I teach them how to use the bell. And when I say, they have to watch, listen, and do. So I'll say, when I say little lamb, you're going to do that in rhythm. Little lamb. So actually I think nursery rhymes have limited value in the language that they use, because we don't really talk about, Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water, broke his crown, like what? So we don't use a lot of that language anymore, but the rhythm of nursery rhymes are very important, I think. So what we do is, Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb, it was white as snow. And actually, one of the children, I was teaching her from 1-year-old, she went to kindergarten for an interview with her mom, and they said, do you know any English songs? She said, yes. Mary had a little lamb. She went through a whole thing, and then she said, boom, boom. You went to Deborah's class. But they learn it, and they're learning the rhythm, and they're also watching, and it's very interesting to see 2-year-olds like do that perfectly. It's like, wow, you did that, and you can do that. So they are catching the rhythm of English, and what's chunked together, we kind of tend to throw away, and the words that are important, and they're actually learning what are the key words without saying we bring our key words to them. Combining curriculums, as I said, combining numbers, combining teaching homophones, grammar, science, numbers. In this one, I teach numbers and clothing. So I like to put things together. So like weather and predicting and put things together. And colors and also phonics in the same book. So this one is teaching clothing as well as numbers and simple subtraction. So here a little bit of this. This is to a tangle. And then this one, they have to figure out which sticker goes with which. So this teaches positional prepositions for older children, but numbers for little children, and clothing. I dropped it. Useful phrase for children, I dropped it. And then there were 4. Let me talk about push and pull. What's the difference in push and pull? So they're learning some verbs as well. And then it goes to 4, 3, 2, 1. So that's what I do now. So teaching some different styles and some simple phrases. That's mine, I dropped it. Combining curriculum. So create for older children, maybe creative writing, that you might want to write your own song or your own poem, and personal expression. And multisensory. So when music is visual, auditory, and kinesthetic, it has a pretty powerful learning touch for little children, especially little children. It's universal, with universal expression, uses your imagination, your perspective, and S for stress and structure. So keyword, stressed and unstressed syllables is pretty difficult to teach. But if they get it naturally through the music, and music that's well written has it naturally. So if I said, hills lie down you. You probably could kind of get what that song was, right? The hills lie down you. Right? So you actually only need to hear certain syllables to know what a sentence is. So when I was teaching in kindergarten, we did the Hapyokai. I'd say, okay, we're going to learn these words. I want you to definitely sing these words. And then actually everybody thinks you sang all the rest. But once you have the key words, we do tend to kind of run over some other words. We chunk them together, and they're not all the same beat. You can teach word clusters, phrase and structure, stress words, and syntax. And teaching singing, actually, to adults. My adult Japanese students are just amazing, their pronunciation, because music gives it to you, and if you learn it correctly, what's louder, what's softer, where's the peak of the phrase, it's just like speaking. So interpretation, intuition, intonation, musicians tend to be able to distinguish pitch more than others. So if you can teach children with some music early on, they can understand the pitch difference in words. And their ear becomes very finely tuned. My adult singing students can tell the difference, like if I said grudge, grant, or hut, hat, hot, they hear it. But you ask somebody who's not a musician, the difference is, I don't quite hear that. So you can really tune up your ear. And connection. I had the great opportunity to become friends with Dr. Dennis Waitley, who is a famous psychologist, behavioral psychologist. And he wrote the Psychology of Winning and Being the Best, and he's a famous author. And one of his writings contains this 4 cornerstones of self-esteem, and the first one was a sense of belonging. So music also gives children a sense of belonging. They know the song together, or they wrote the song together. They sing the song together. They perform the song together. So it gives a sense of self-esteem and belonging to children. And there have been a lot of studies recently about music and word recall. So this was another one in 2009 from the music journal, Psychology of Music, that kids who study music had better word recall and actually doing better on comprehensive reading tests than other children. And the emotional connection. And music creates also an emotional memory. So if you sang that song together, you would have an emotional memory. So jingles, I think, and I tried to base these books like jingles because they have such a powerful effect on our memory. So of auditory, if you just heard of just listening, it would have one effect. But if you also create visuals around it, like a TV commercial, it has a more powerful effect. And if you start performing it, it has an even more powerful effect for you. Earworms, earworms, they're songs that get stuck in your head, and they go around and around and around and around. And there are some companies that actually market earworms for learning German and learning Spanish and earworms. So it creates like your own iTunes store. It has these little clips, or it's giving you little clips of music, and it starts running around in your brain. And what that's doing is rehearsing it as if you were rehearsing a song, which moves it into working memory and then into long-term memory. So then you have your own iPod store in there. So you have your own iPod as your working memory. And I want to talk a little bit about multiple intelligences. Are we really the same? Can you give the same pill to every student? Can you give the same textbook to every student? Can you expect each student to learn in the same way? Really, we can't. But I think that we have to be creative to come up with, and I try to do it at the university, come up with different lessons that would involve different kinds of intelligences. That my science students might not respond to the same way that the art students might respond to the same lesson. So in some ways, I think we could incorporate music in the classroom to time activities. You might say, okay, you want to finish this reading when this song is finished, or this group of songs are finished. Might be interesting. I worked at the kindergarten with a Japanese teacher, and I went to her room for lunch one day, and I was really amazed because you have to get all these kids to eat lunch in 20 minutes, and some are slow eaters, and you have to clean up the room, and anybody's taught kindergarten. It's an amazing process. Lunch is hard work. And she put on the same music every day, and when a certain song came up, they came up for second. She never said anything. They came up for second. They sat down, and when a certain song came up, they said, okay, cleanup time. And she never said anything, and then they were finished everything. By the time the music was finished, they were ready to go outside. They were always the first outside after lunch to play. So, and they had the motivation, of course, to do it on time, because then they got to go out and play. But putting things to activities. There's some, I think, pros and cons about reading faster. I don't know that we necessarily want them to read faster, but at some point we want to move children away from reading in this monotonous tone. And if music can help you do that, I think it's good. This was one reason I put this on the learning track. I'll give you just a sample of it. Let's read it. Try to read it. To try to read in the rhythm of the music. Okay? So it gives you sort of a time limit. So you have to say it to the melody in the rhythm. I have a cat. I have a dog. I have a cat. I have a dog. And it also gives you the mouse. It gives it. I have the right emphasis. I have a dog. So it tells you the keyword in a way that the music is indicating where the keyword is. So that's helpful, I think. It might speed up reading. It might trigger. I often, with my students, I'm trying to help them a little bit. In each class, my elementary school students, we take like a couple sheets from Aiken, the Aiken textbook, and we do some things. And what's the 6th day of the week? What's the 5th day of the week? And I have a little song that will be modified to Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And if they're not sure which one it is, I'll just say da 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 da. Then they know it. They know what it is. Or I say, what's the day today? And I'll go da da da, and they say, oh, it's Thursday. So I just use it to trigger memory sometimes, where they don't have to even sing the song. So to get them to move from song to speech, where they're taking what they learned from a song and actually using it, and an activity cue. Like, okay, you put on this music, we know we're going to do this. Or you put on this music, and it's time to move over to the reading station, or whatever that you're doing in your class. And it's just a great way to review vocabulary, I think. So multiple intelligences. According to Dr. Whately's work, he divided it a little different than some other psychologists. And he says there's linguistic, logical, mathematical, spatial, musical, kinesthetic, interpersonal, and intrapersonal. So here are some ways I think that we can work with different intelligences. He says here's a test to see what your intelligence, your strength of intelligence is. If you were on a desert island, no pen or paper, you have to remember the Morse code overnight to flag down a ship that would pass in the morning. How would you remember it? What would you do? And I know that I would make up a song. I would make up a song to remember it. What would you do?
I'd probably have it.
You know the answer?
In the sand? Right in the sand.
Whisper it to me. Whisper first. Go over it.
So he said somebody with linguistic intelligence might write a story about it, or a poem, or something, to try to remember. But somebody with more kinesthetic intelligence might make an obstacle course and say, this is what we have to do, like make it physical. If somebody with more musical intelligence might want to write a song about it. So it's a good test to see where you are. So here's a linguistic workout. Some of you might know this. English, right? So, well, if you said tiger, then you have to start something that starts with an R, and you go back and forth that way. So using things that they know. I also use a lot of Japanese in the classroom that I might say, here's our game, and take the beanbag. And if I say momo, you say, and you say it in English. You say peach, and then you would throw it to me if I say, and you say it in Japanese, and I have to say it in English. And that's a good way to use the base of language that they already have, because we want to build them up. Hey, you know a language already. We just want to learn how to say that in English now. I use anything at all. Sometimes I just open my closet. Okay, what are we going to do? But I take Japanese, those blocks, the hiragana blocks, and we did it the other day. And what we do is we make a tower, and we see who's going to knock down the tower. And okay, what's this in English? And then we build up the tower, and it makes it a lot of fun and exciting, to just review words and learn vocabulary.
Just be clear. You say blocks, you mean like 6 sides?
They're tiles. So you can stack them. So I use that, or I use them like dominoes. Okay, and or just using what they know and what's familiar to them, I think is very helpful. I tell parents, get those kindergarten charts that everybody has and stick it in the bathtub and say, what's this in English? That's how I taught my children. Syllable game is using music or rhythm, right? So I'll let you all practice a little bit. Let's see which team can come up with 5 animals with 3 syllables. In English, right? Go. Can you come up with 3? Or you can try it with 2. Camel. You could come up with 2 syllables. Can you come up with 5 animals with 3? So you could work with that. And of course, dividing it, using katakana, it's more syllables. So you might want to teach them first. Okay, these are 2-syllable group. This is a 3-syllable group, and then see what they can remember from the group, even if it's just with picture cards.
Done something similar with that, like I told you before about making your own songs in the classroom. And when I asked them to find out the syllabus, we look around the classroom, point and how many syllables?
And they clap it out. Which Japanese teachers do. Working actually at a Japanese kindergarten was very helpful because I would observe the Japanese teachers. What are they doing and how are they teaching and how can we use that in English because it's already familiar to the students. I do a game. Some of my elementary school boys are faster at this than some of my university students. I put Japanese karata on the floor, and I use it as a visual game that I say, I see a boy on a bridge, and I describe the scene, and they have to touch it. And they're really fast, and they're really good, and they really like that. I also use karata in a way that I read a book, maybe the Dr. Seuss or something. I'm reading a book, all the things that you can think, and I have word cards for the readers, and they have to hit a word if I say it. So that's kind of high level, but some of them can do it. And you might take a song that they know well, you know that they know the words, and see if they can say it instead of sing it. So a musical workout might be name that tune. Right? So if I said da 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 da, what is it? Hey. Japanese people? No. You know? No, I know, but I don't know the title. I can name that three, right? But it could be with English songs, so of course, like da 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 da. So what is it? I did that with my kids. But another way to do it would be just to say, what's this song? So it trains your listening for rhythm, right? And we talked about how I use this. I also use castanets in class. And there was this same researcher out of Harvard said that there was a study that babies, actually they were one-year-olds, when they came to class, mommy and me kind of class, and they used instruments, they became more communicative than other babies. So it's developing their sense of communication. So I use this, we do the Mexican hat dance, da-dun, 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 and then I say hello, with like the frogs are saying hello to each other. And even the really little ones, they're just flying, like they'll run up, like hello, but they're not talking yet, but they know that it's time to say hello. Right? So it's communication, and it's a rhythm, and they're getting how many syllables, and it's all packed into it in a simple rhythm lesson. Spatial workout. This isn't so musical, but this is sort of similar to what you were saying. Maybe watch a music video with no audio, and then tell the story. This could be for university students or higher level students. story. And I spy, looking around the room, I spy, and can they figure out what it is? I did this with my shogakusei and the daigakusei, and they all had fun with it. That we talked in the university about how to describe faces, how we describe people, powers of observation, and then they had to describe their mother or their father, and the other person had to draw their face. And it was very, very funny, and some of the pictures were very funny. But they had to actually use the language in a spatial way, and that was interesting. And they all enjoyed it, so that was fun. Pictionary, of course. This is a little bit of perception, and all of my shogakusei love this. Let me see if I can make this bigger. This is looking for specific things. Okay, so talking about perception, you only see what you're looking for, right? So I had them, for the university students, I had them write the vocabulary. For the elementary school, and even some of the kindergarten kids could do it, they have to say it and circle it. They had a paper and circle it. Only things that start with P. There are more than 30.
P.
Starts with P.
P.
Okay?
Pig.
Pig.
Pickles.
Pillow.
Parachute.
Parachute.
Pickles.
Pickle.
Pizza.
Pitchfork. Parachute.
Phone.
Pizza. Phone.
Pumpkin.
Pumpkin. Pillow. Pizza pan. Pizza bread.
Pitchfork.
Pitchfork.
Pie.
Pie. We sometimes call a bucket of
Periscope.
periscope.
Parachute.
Pipe.
Panda.
Panda.
Pumpkin.
Penguin.
There's a big pencil up there.
Pizza. Is it pizza?
Pizza.
Is it pizza?
Eight puppets.
Pizza?
Oh yeah. Oh, pasta.
Parakeet.
Palm tree.
I lost it.
Oh, that's not the
That was weird. But it's fun. You get back to where I was. Hold on. Won't cooperate. So there's a lot in there. There's palm tree and pole, paint, painter, puppet, puppeteer, painter, pencil, parrot, ponytail, hot, peach. It's hard to see some of them on the edge.
Puppies.
Puppy.
Penguins.
Pear. So there's a lot of it. And both the university kids and the elementary school kids love them. They think it's very fun.
Parents.
Okay.
Polyamorous.
So riddles, I also use riddles in class. It's good linguistically and also just thinking-wise and getting them to use the language, talk together. What could the answer be? There's some good riddles at Basel School. And then deductive thinking, songs like what was that? Using math and music, combining curriculum, logical thinking. And sing a song in class, right? Group projects. There's a professor, and he's at a different university now, he's at Sugai. He had students get up, like record a song, and then they had like a contest, which one was the best one. And they listened to the songs in class, and they decided which person won. And I know at kindergarten, they have presentations, you have to dance at the haptokai, at the birthday party. But actually performing, even in a classroom setting, like in my school, performing it, acting it out with gestures, it's more meaningful to them, and they have more fun with it. So you might want to sing, write, record your own song. Now we'll do a little bit with kinesthetic, and that's what my rhythmic class is about, is kinesthetic. So I have brought a few sticks with me, but I'll give, anybody volunteer? Volunteer. So everybody else can clap or mime it with your fingers, is okay. But we do a lot with rhythm sticks, and I find that the most unruly boys become very easy when they have rhythm sticks in their hands. And there are different levels of these that you can do harder or easier rhythmic classes.
Gabriel, you seem rather unruly.
Okay, you first
New basis.
Mika, you're good in drum.
She's a drummer. So let's give an example. There's all different kinds of songs on here. But we do, and they love this that they know. Right? Who's with me? We march. Everybody else can do it with their hands. And then you tap. One. We march. I know. And you tap. One. Hi ho hi. And then we hit the floor, but 1, 2, and they count. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then for the older children, do 1, bodies, it's like embedding this into their experience. Great. So they know what this means. Great. Now hammer. Hammer. Trombone. So that's a little bit of what we do in rhythmic. So we actually use this for when you want to level up. Yes. When you want to hang on to that. When you want to give it to a friend. When you want to give her one. And this is a partner thing that's a little difficult for Nin, Cho, and Up can do this one. This is Hawaiian rhythm stick. So we have paper. Can you roll up a piece of paper, make it into like a bowl, and you make a little. So if you have a stick, you're okay. If you have a stick, you're okay. I think sticks enough for everybody. So I have the university students. You know how you roll it? Yeah, you roll it, and then you roll it. She has sticks. Oh, you have a stick. So roll it, and make a stick for yourself. Okay? And with a partner, this one's tricky. With a partner, okay? So this is listen and do, and you have to do it goes really fast. So this is tap, and then you touch with your partner. So tap, hit, yes, tap, hit, turn, shoulder. Do that 4 times. Tap, hit, turn, shoulder. Tap, hit, turn, shoulder. Everybody okay? Shoulder. So you do that 4 times. Okay. Tap, hit, turn, shoulder. And then that's 4 times. And then it's twirl. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fan is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then you do that again. That sequence again. Tap, hit, turn, shoulder 4 times. Twirl, 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 twirl. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then you do change. Change is full time, very fast. Change, 4 times. Change. And then hand, floor, hand, floor. Hand and floor, and hand and floor. Change. Up, right, down. Up, left, down. That's the whole thing. You got it? This is adults do this also. This is Hawaiian rhythm stick. But my Nincho perfect. The university students thought it's very fun. It goes fast. You ready? Ready? Begin. Tap, hit, turn, shoulder, tap, hit, turn, shoulder, tap, hit, turn, shoulder, tap, hit, turn, shoulder, twirl. 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Tap, hit, turn, shoulder, tap, hit, turn, shoulder, tap, hit, turn, shoulder, tap, hit, turn, shoulder, twirl. 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4, 5. Get ready to change. change, 4, and 4. Tap, hip, turn, shoulder, tap, hip, turn, shoulder, tap, hip, turn, shoulder, tap, hip, turn, shoulder, twirl. 2, 3, 4. Fan. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Tap, hip, turn, shoulder, tap, hip, turn, shoulder, tap, hip, turn, shoulder, tap, hip, turn, shoulder, twirl. 2, 3, 4, and fan. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Change, 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 and 4, and 4. Change, 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 4, and up, and down, and up, and down. Change, 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 and 4, and 4, change, 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 4, and up, and down, and up, and down. They have individual routines and pair routines. This first over Mommy and Me class. Mom takes one and the child takes one, and they do it together. And it takes a little while to really get the pattern down, but they tomorrow. I also do. We don't sit very much in my class. We do lots of moving. And let me find my other pen. You can use it with paper. But actually, I tell them rules. I say, these are my rules, and I say them in Japanese, and say, don't, watch your thumb. Don't hit your thumb. Don't hit your friend. Don't hit your friend, don't hit your thumb. And if you don't do it right, I take them away. This one, give you a sample of what I do with these. This is homemade ribbon. And we do, I use this for, children to about 6 or 7, but sometimes older. And we're swimming, it's a fish. And then we do up and down. We also do look, and I feel, we say things like that. So, and then they follow me up, and even the little children say up, down, and we turn, twirl, be a helicopter. So using things, we do under for older children, under. So motor skills, turn, and we go around, we make a tail. So also imagination in there, make long hair, drive the car, drive the train, anything I come up with, right? Anything at all. And then for the older children, we also try to pass. Because passing is like unbelievably hard, right? Pass. So we try to get them to pass. And then, so we just become whatever we want to become with it. So you can come up with your own ideas. But they all love ribbon. And it also teaches rhythm to them. And then we say, what color do you want? They have to say, I want a pink one, I want a blue one. So you have to say. So they love the ribbon. From the babies up, they love the ribbon. So that's some of the things that I do. And gestures to the songs. So putting gestures to things. So even like, what I might do, like once the children know the song, then you could start putting it into more of a performance. So, for example, this one, with animals, I might have them do something. Once they know the words, I have a cat, I have a dog, we might then do something like I have a cat, I have a cat, meow, I have a dog, wah, wah, so that they're putting some gesture to it. So I usually do I have a cat, meow, I have a dog, wah, I have a frog. So they're getting the motion. It's really cool. So there's a lot of ways that you can use it. Once they know it, then you could perform it. So that's another way that I'm using it. So what can you discover through music? I think there's a lot of creative ways that you might use music in the classroom. So I'm interested to hear any ways that you are using music in the classroom and any ideas that you have as well. Any questions or any comments?